Hello everyone, my name is TenebrificEnigma, and welcome back to Lake of Voices. We're starting from where we left off.
The first trial tends to be the most difficult. I believe we will only react better from this point on.
I hope so.
I like the way you think.
Aww. Then a gleam enters Bamele's eyes and he grins.
I think Kika deserves a round of applause. Her quick reflexes are owed the utmost appreciation.
Yeah, okay. He leans softly into my shoulder, trying to get me to what?
It was indeed a sight. You're quite capable. Bemele was also a sight, but for very different reasons. The way he froze with his mouth all agape was a laugh in itself.
Bamele shakes a fist at Margaret in mock anger, then shoots me an affectionate look.
You should know, she and I are usually on equal footing.
The only reason you had footing at all is because she pulled you back.
Bamele laughs self-consciously, scratching his head.
That's very true. You can always count on Kika.
Aw. I keep my eyes steadily ahead, unsure of how I should respond. I am pleased, almost grateful to hear what they think of me, but I don't know what I could say that wouldn't seem pathetic. Instead, I contribute the best way I can. I keep my focus on the path ahead of us. Without a response from me, the conversation quickly dies out. Still, it eases my heart to be on such friendly terms with my companions. It's strange in the middle, watching over the guide. Until now, I didn't notice how smooth his movements are. There's a sense of grace to his actions, even in the basic task of walking down a bridge. I have to actively stop myself from being distracted by it. Suddenly, I notice the guide seems to be getting further away from us. He's speeding up. I do the same to match his pace and end up moving at a light jog.
Guide, why are we going faster?
He doesn't reply or even look back at me. Instead, his speed almost doubles. I glance back, worried, but Margaret is keeping up with us. The guide keeps moving faster and faster until finally we're at an all-out sprint. Figures in the dark fog fly past us at a blur. It occurs to me, branching paths in the bridge appear to be sinking. I swallow my rising panic. The guide shouts something, but it's drowned out by the frantic pounding of our footsteps. I'm trying to piece together what he said. Don't stop, turn. He takes a masterful, sharp right turn down a path instead of using his own momentum and the sleek wood to slide in a new direction with no loss of speed. Despite the sudden turn, my reflexes enable me to keep close behind him.
We're making a right!
Bamele is on my heels, following me to the turn. I glance back once more. Margaret, although further behind than before, also makes the turn as well. We are all still together. As the night wears on, our strength rapidly fades. Even my stamina is being challenged. I can't imagine what it must be like for Margaret. She's holding her side as she runs, clearly cramping from the exercise. How much longer will this last? People have to rest sometime. Almost as if in response to my thoughts, the guide abruptly halts and I skip to a stop as well, sliding on the surface of the wood.
Why did we stop?
I wonder what's going on. Bamele's voice is tired, but his guard is up. The guide doesn't answer, just stares at something slightly out of view. I step up to join him, following his gaze further down the path. What? There, curled up in a ball, illuminated by the lantern's light, cowers a person. His hands grip his head, and he rocks from side to side, mumbling incoherently.
It's a man.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just couldn't. Please. I'm sorry.
What happened? I'm struck with an array of questions. What is going on? Why would he wander out on these bridges on his own? Did he make it this far by himself? Were there others with him? If that's somehow the case, I can't blame him for the state of shock he's in. The man stops mumbling. He glances above him, seemingly only just now having the strength to lift his head. His expression, the deepest sadness, along with the clear makings of terror, are scrawled across his face. I stare at him in shock, not sure what to do.
Leave him.
Why? I snap my eyes away from the man instead to the guide's cold and implacable face.
No! We can't just leave him here. We've managed fine enough already, and these creatures will probably pluck him away as soon as we've gone. Without light, it's certain he'll die.
He won't make it regardless.
What's going on? The guide turns to look at us, his eyes seeming to glow from the closeness of the lantern. For the first time, I feel uncomfortable in his presence.
Whoever shelters him will only risk dragging themselves down with him. Leave him.
I glance at the others. Bamele is outraged, but Margaret is staring at the man with something like fear. She's uneasy, but she doesn't voice her concerns. I'm trying to think of some kind of compromise when the guide speaks again, his voice cutting.
If the man comes, then whoever is shielding him will have to remain at a distance from the rest of the group. Far enough that you can't see me, just my light. That is how you will travel across the bridges.
Oh.
I didn't agree to lead this man, and I won't. If you ask me to, I will leave you all behind.
Adrenaline surges through my veins. I tense up. It's a painful reminder that the guide isn't here to save our lives, but merely to show us the way. We're on our own. Margaret, Bamele, and I frantically share looks between each other, trying to communicate without words. None of us have a desire to speak and be the first to make a choice. The man is standing now, though still hunched with his arms wrapped around himself. As if expecting a blow, he stares at the ground rather than at us. Because of this, I'm having trouble reading his face. What exactly happened to him?
Are you well, stranger? Do you know where you are and why you're here?
He glances up, but not at me, but towards me, his eye is resting somewhere near my collarbone.
I'm fine. You all can go on your way. Forget you even saw me here.
What?
That's absurd. You have no way to defend yourself. We can't leave you.
Yes, I'm sure in your eyes I might not seem like much, but that's not exactly a fair shake.
What's going on?
Maybe in a perfect world, every man would be as large as you. But that's not how things always go. Doesn't mean I'm defenseless.
What is going on? The man's response is meandering. The words themselves seem to be in good jest, but he's still barely looking at us, fidgeting with his hands. Bamele frowns, unimpressed.
It was a joke.
He smiles hesitantly, making eye contact with each of us for the first time.
What part of it was supposed to be the joke? Do you even realize what is happening in this moment?
Never mind. Forget that too. Point is, I'm alright.
What is going on?
You were curled up in a ball when we met.
Exactly. Something must be wrong with you.
Sadness could be a thing.
Oh no, sounds like you've been talking with my father.
Who is this? He let out a weak little laugh, coupled with an eyebrow raised, voice trembling. No one really knows what to make of this. Man gives a small wave and begins down the path we came. Bamele huffs, tossing his hand into the air.
That's not even the right way.
Could be going the other way.
It could be, if he's trying to get to the side we came from.
He must have come quite a ways if it was the other shore that he started on.
Oh, wow. The man's smile grows.
Good. That's not so bad.
There's no response to this remark, unsure of what could be said.
I still think he should come with us. A person needs a light, and the guide himself said he won't be able to manage on his own. Sticking with us is his best option.
I look over at the man's body, noticing the scrawniness of his limbs. Scrawny, but not necessarily lacking muscle. The bravado he was showing as he tried to leave us has faded yet again. He is standing quietly, looking at us as if watching a play. Interest, but no true connection to the events.
It's easy for you to say such things, but whose light are you offering? It's not mine, and you are putting her in even more danger with your own presence already.
Bamele looks at Margaret. She avoids his gaze.
Perhaps I could have let him share my light before. But the guide has said the one with him has to remain behind, and I simply wouldn't be able to manage it.
Bamele's hands turn to fists. He looks away but doesn't say anything for a moment. No one does. I feel a cold sweat on my brow as what I feared comes to pass. He's stopping us from protecting one another. Why must he get involved now? Why can he not leave us to make our own decisions?
You... Don't worry about me. I'll be on my way now.
The man's voice is full of something I cannot place. He starts to shuffle back down the way we came, arms still clenched around himself. Margaret may not be able to take him, but there's another way this could be solved. I could stay back with him. It'll put Bamele and myself at a significantly more risk, but at least this man will stand a chance. He already does. It's going that way already. I'm sorry. I can't risk it. He's already made his choice. I feel terrible. The description of the game says you can't save everyone. Margaret and Bamele stare at the man as he leaves. We watch as him drag his little frame down the bridge, quickly fading from sight. Maybe the guy's wrong and he'll be okay. We had to let him go. We've only barely been surviving so far. It was his choice to make. He didn't ask us to help him. The space the man vanished into is dark and silent. We can see and hear nothing of him, not even his footsteps. Oh man, I feel so terrible.
Maybe we should call him back? We can at least give him directions. Tell him what paths we've been taking.
It's not going to make any difference. We can't give directions when the bridges we were on might very well have sunken away.
Yeah.
We shouldn't focus on what might become of him. He has his own path to follow, and we ours. We should focus on what we're doing now.
I feel terrible. Of course, it's not really a might, but we have to get through this somehow, and being weighed down with guilt will only distract us. He made it this far already. I still feel terrible. The guide starts moving again at a quick pace. After a moment's hesitation and one last glance into the truly lifeless fog, we run to catch up to him. I feel terrible. We walk onwards in silence. I still feel terrible. Our party hasn't changed. The stranger is never added to it, so it's not as if it makes sense to miss him. But there's a sense of loss all the same. No one even attempts mirth. I keep thinking I should have done more, should have pushed the guide harder to change his mind so it was less dangerous to keep the man around. Something. Anything. But I have to let this go. I'm not going to forget that man. I'll never forget him. But we still need to get through this. I curl my hands into fists, hoping it will strengthen my resolve. Then I push forward. We turn down a different path, and the guide stops. Ahead of us stand a group of prowlers. At the sound of us, they turned their heads in unison, as if they knew we were coming. I inhale.
Not again.
They're kind of scary looking. The prowlers wriggle somehow, their skin moving more slowly than it should, sliding across their skeletons. They laugh. Oh, that's creepy.
We already lost a lantern and it's only our first day. We can't keep doing this.
Yes, we can't lose a lantern at this point. We're almost to the island.
What's going on? The guide rummages through his coat with his free hand.
What are you planning?
Bamele's tone is borderline threatening, but the guide ignores him. He pulls out a small pouch, then opens the latch on his lantern.
Wait, are you going to throw that at them? What if the bridge sets on fire?
It will. We're going to run.
This is insane! These bridges are hellish enough without them also being on fire.
The guide knows what he's doing, man.
And what about the other man? If he's still out there, this could...
It could help him, maybe?
He's dead. We're not losing another lantern.
He says it with such a detached certainty, as if he saw it happen himself. No one argues with him. The guide steps closer to the prowlers. We follow and sit behind him, staying close to his back. He bends his lantern back down until it's lowered to his outstretched arm. The pouch in his hand sets aflame. With a practiced flick of the wrist, he swings the staff back up, and the glass on the lantern snaps closed.
Don't get left behind.
He takes 3 quick steps, then tosses the pouch. The prowlers are back in the water before the pouch even lands. As soon as it does, the flame starts to lick and curl itself around the wood. The guide breaks into a sprint, and so did the rest of us. The blaze grows despite the heavy dampness from the lake. These bridges are not normal bridges. Of course that's true. Nothing here is right. Hopefully, they won't collapse with the flames. We stay on the guide's heels, almost too close for comfort. If he stops abruptly, well, we'll all crash into one another, maybe even fall off the bridge. Then the world tilts. It was mid-stride when I put my foot down. The bridge isn't where it was. It lurches to one side because it was weakened or pushed. Bamela and I managed to keep our ground, but Margaret falls to the ground. At least I thought that was what happened. She starts pawing the bridge. My glasses fell off. I can't see. The guide, having regained his balance, presses on. He doesn't even bother to look back at her. Bamela and I run to Margaret, scanning the bridge, but there's no sign of her glasses. The flames are growing thicker and closer. The heat, life-sucking, close enough to nip at her heels. I grab Margaret's
Your
arm.
glasses aren't here anymore. We have to go or we'll lose the guide.
Margaret squints up at me, face paler than ever. She nods and stands, and we start after the guide again. As our storm of feet thunder across the boards, a silver sliver begins to rise in view just above the edge of the water.
It's the island.
The island? I squint, suddenly making out the craggy forms of land and earth. I see it. We're almost there. Safety at long last in sight. New energy surges through me. We push ourselves faster, longing to put these god-forsaken bridges behind our backs. All at once, the bridge ends, and our entire group rushes ashore, Earth. Solid earth, a haven from the water. I catch my breath while still moving even further from the dark shoreline. I can't believe we actually made it. Even more difficult is the idea we're only halfway done. When night falls once more, we have to do it all again. A heavy arm falls across my shoulders, and I straighten to see Bemele smiling wearily at me.
Good work out there.
Thanks. It's not the usual commendation of a job well done. There's sadness, perhaps even sympathy in the sentence. It ends flatly. Usually Bemele's comfort and good nature gives me at least the urge to smile, but right now it feels like a hollow victory. He moves to face Margaret, who's squinting at the surrounding area.
Good work out there.
The statement is more energetic. He's not willing enough to show a lack of confidence in front of her. Margaret smiles slightly.
How are you doing without your glasses?
Oh, I'll manage. I have to, after all. I'm not completely blind, thankfully, so I can muddle my way through.
There isn't anything much to see out on those bridges. As long as you stay away from the edge, you should be as safe as you were before.
That's true. It will be fine.
Hopefully. Then the guide is there. He moves so smoothly that his steps on the soft sand are nearly silent. His dusky clothes blend with the thinning of the night.
The sun will rise soon. The fire on the bridge is the only reason this island isn't overrun with prowlers right now. However, they could still pose a threat.
Oh, that's fun.
Is that why you decided to set the bridges on fire? To make the island safer?
Probably not. The guy looks at Margaret for what I realize might be the only second or third time all night.
Setting the bridges alight isn't an uncommon strategy. It has many uses.
He walks away, Margaret frowning at his retreating form. Come. Why didn't he say anything? Actor. The guide takes us to an area a bit further inland, but not too far from the water. Trees partially obscure our location, and there's enough room to watch the coast in case prowlers start to emerge from the water. Essentially, it's a place where an ambush would be hard.
If any of you see anything at all, speak up. We don't want them to sneak up on us.
Almost automatically, each member of the group turns to a different direction. For a brief second, I feel a flicker of pride. This night may be awash with misery, but we're still here for each other. As the sky continues to fade from pale purple to a muted blue, the water stays silent. For the first time, nothing happens. It's a miracle. Suddenly, my chest is lighter, and the air is fresher. The first pricks of light appear over the horizon, stinging my eyes after such a long journey through the darkness. A sound catches my attention, and I move my focus towards its direction. The guide is opening the latch on his lantern again. He gently, almost respectfully, blows out the light. I'm going to end this one here, guys. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.